Hey everyone, it's Alora, and today I'm here to film my Midsummer book haul. So I've been trying really hard not to buy books because I have somewhere around 170 that I own that I have yet to read, which is really ridiculous and seems kind of, I mean, it's not wasteful, but it's a little excessive at this point. So I feel like I've been trying to cut down on my book buying, and it has been fairly successful this year. I've only purchased around 30 or 35 books, and by this time this year I normally would have bought a lot more than that. So I'm doing pretty well. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about my weak moments when I broke down and hit order or walked up to the cash register with the book in hand and actually paid for it and bought it and brought it home. So as you're about to see, I have a lot of weak moments. The first book that I bought was one that I've already read, and that is The Nerdy Nummies Cookbook by Rosanna Pansino. Now, I already talked about this in my July wrap-up, so I'm going to be relatively brief, but I love reading through cookbooks, and this is a very fun one. There are a lot of different genres, so to speak. So there is math and science, space, fantasy and sci-fi, gaming, tech and web, and geeky treats. Let me just flip to a page and see what we've got. So my favorite part of this cookbook is that there are step-by-step instructions for each recipe. Anyway, if you're into fantasy or gaming and you also enjoy baking, then this is the perfect cookbook for you. The next two books were my book depository order that I ordered for the Booktubeathon, which was this fun event that Ariel Bissett hosts every year. And so the first book that I purchased was All We Shall Know by Donal Ryan. Now this is an Irish novel and it's really quite short, but it was very powerful and I really enjoyed it. It's about this woman going through a controversial pregnancy in Ireland. It's about redemption and self-forgiveness, and it really was incredible, so I would recommend this one for sure. In addition to that, the cover is absolutely stunning. Speaking of stunning covers, the next book in my book depository order was the UK edition of Caraval, and look how shiny it is. So it's black on the front and white on the back and shiny all over, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. I didn't actually own any edition of Caraval because I listened to it on audiobook, so I don't have the red and black US edition. But this one is really gorgeous, and on the inside of each book under the cover there is a special shiny little emblem. There are multiple options, I believe 6 options, and I ended up with the tent. Anyway, essentially this was a cover buy because I've already read the book, but I just thought that it was so beautiful that I wanted it on my shelves. Although now that I think about it, I organize my books by color, and this one is not one color. It's black and white on the spine, so not sure what I'm gonna do about that. I'm gonna have to problem solve that one. After that, I retail therapied myself some books off of Amazon. So the first one that I purchased is one that I'm reading right now, and that is The Unseen World by Liz Moore. Now this is a novel, an adult novel, about a young girl named Ada who grew up with her brilliant scientific father. He basically homeschooled her in his lab and in their home, and this is the story of Ada growing up and kind of figuring out more about her father and realizing that maybe he wasn't this man on a pedestal that she'd always put him up to be. It's a very interesting story so far. I'm not very far into it yet, only about 100 pages, but I'll let you know what I think about it at the end of this month. The reason that I bought that one was because Reagan from over at Peruse Project recommended it heavily, and I always follow her recommendations. She has amazing taste, so. Another book that I purchased this summer was a self-help, self-enlightenment type book called The Well Life by Brianna and Dr. Peter Borton. This book so far, I'm about halfway through, is pretty good. There are a lot of the similar ideas to many other self-help type books, but it's presented in a new and unique way, so I am definitely enjoying it so far. The last book that I ordered from Amazon was actually a pre-order, and it was Because You Love to Hate Me, 13 Tales of Villainy. So this is written by 13 YA authors. There are 13 short stories in here, and there are also little essays by 13 different booktubers. This was very fun. I definitely had a few favorites, and then there were some that I thought were kind of but overall I would definitely recommend this book. I know this isn't a wrap-up. This is starting to sound like a wrap-up because I've read a lot of these books, but also beautiful cover. It's also shiny, which is amazing, and very fun. So yeah. The final 2 books that I have in my book haul today are recent purchases. I went to Barnes & Noble. Hold on, let me back up. Okay, so there's a story here. Last week I watched the movie To the Bone, which is on Netflix, and it was really amazing. It's the story about a girl with anorexia, and it has amazing representation for eating disorders, and because I'm wanting to go into childhood counseling, this was very relevant for me in my future career. Anyway, the main actress in that movie was Lily Collins, and I've never been a huge Lily Collins fan before, and I'm not sure why that is, but she recently released a sort of autobiographical essay collection, and it's called Unfiltered, No Shame, No Regrets, Just Me. This collection talks about eating disorders, it talks about family, it talks about her coming into womanhood, and I wanted it, essentially. I just watched the film and I was like, you know what, I really just want it. So I was going to order it off of Amazon, which would have been a lot cheaper, but instead I went to Barnes & Noble and bought it. And while I was there, because I can't just buy one overpriced book, had to buy more than one, I picked up this poetry collection by Charles Bukowski. So this is The Pleasures of the Damned, which is a collection of poems that he wrote between 1951 and 1993. Before buying this book, I had never read a collection of Charles Bukowski's poems, and I haven't read any of his longer prose works either. But I had seen some of his poetry, and I had liked it and appreciated it, and I was over there browsing the poetry collection, trying to look a little bit classy, and I ended up picking it up. Let me just read you what the Los Angeles Times said on the back. It says, "Bukowski is the laureate of the Los Angeles underground, an eccentric who sees the world with a clarity of vision possessed only by artists and madmen." I think that's an accurate depiction of what this is. This is kind of depressing, but it's very honest and real, and it definitely has that LA grimy, like the parts of LA that are a little bit more derelict. It has that kind of feel, and it's very well written, but also kind of sad to read. So I'm not sure, I'll probably traverse it slowly. That sounded ridiculous. Alright guys, that was my Midsummer book haul. Those were all of my book purchases in the last, probably about 2 months. And I'm really happy to have all of these books, and I feel pretty good because I've already read most of them, or I'm currently making my way through them, so I don't feel like I'm wasting my book purchases and just, you know, shoving them away on my shelf like I've definitely been known to do in the past. There are definitely quite a few pre-order purchases that I made for the month of September because a lot of really good books are coming out, so I'm definitely going to have another book haul in the relatively near future. What can I say? It's not my fault that all of the authors put out all of the good books all at once. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this fun little book haul. Let me know if you've purchased any wonderful new books in the recent past. I guess that's it. So until next time, stay happy, stay healthy. Bye guys.